Sikholelwa ekubeni umhlaba bobona butyebi kuluntu lwasemaphandleni. When entering the rural community of Saphukanduku, near Mount Elif, you would think the people of this village have jobs like the average South African. The busy atmosphere, the cheerful faces of people walking up and down are evidence that life is convenient here. This community has been working in different projects implemented with the assistance of the provincial government. Saphukanduku has 215 households with about 1,600 people. Only 20% of them are employed. The rest are actively involved in agriculture and farming projects. The sheep shearing project, the Nguni cattle project, the maize project, the poultry projects and the vegetable project have been sustaining this community for about 6 years now. Felicia Maja, who grew up in Saphukanduku, says growing up there was very difficult. She learned to look after sheep at a very young age, and today she owns 123 sheep. Sheep farming is a passion, and it provides a living sufficient for her and her 2 children.
As far as I'm concerned, because the sheep project is very much important to me, since I've seen where I'm from and where I'm now, I want to have more to improve so that even those who can't see what the importance is from the sheep can see and have the ability to do it as I have done it. Because I wish it can be of more importance even to my kids.
The community has a shearing shed which was sponsored by the National Wool Growers Association. The shed helps them to produce and sell wool, which has helped even the young people of Saphukanduku who previously had no jobs. The project now employs about 20 young men who are shearers at the shed.
In a period of 5 years, I can see, I wish my community to grow up, because in nowadays there's no jobs, so we must rely on our land and our flocks to have income in our pockets.
Saphukanduku village, which is near the N2 freeway, now boasts planted maize fields that have been known to bring passing freeway traffic to a stop, as passers-by survey the hard work of the community. The people are working with the Alfred Nzo District Municipality and Rural Development Agency AsgiSA Eastern Cape in maize cropping.
Indeed, as a municipality, we were able to set aside 7 million to intervene in that area in the year 2008. And then in this particular year we are finalizing, we're able again to intervene with 3 million. But now our intervention in this instance was with our social partner AsgiSA that came into the party to say, how can we together maximize our resources to assist the communities in their development and in their own becoming.
Priti Mushweshwe, who also grew up in the small village, says the project has made a marked difference in their community. Never before have they planted maize on such a large scale. She reminisces about growing up in the area depending on cropping.
Mna ndinguPriti kaMushweshwe. Ndizalelwe apha eSaphukanduku. Ndikhuliswe ngokulima, abazali bam bebelima. Kodwa ke kuthe kulinywa kunjalo. So into endiye ndayenza mna yoba ndihamba ndiyofunda i-fashion design, ndaphila ke ngosendiphiliswa kukuthunga. Ngo-2007 siye safikelwa iprojekthi okuthiwa nguSiyazondla. USiyazondla lo ke yena ke esiphathele supplier ngeveg, ngamazambane, nekhaphetshu, nebhitruthi, yonke into eyinhlobo zeveg. Saqalisa ke ukutyala ezigadini zethu. Kodwa ke ngoku sesabona uba masiyenze ke lento sihlangane singomama, sibe nendawo yethu esityala kuyo singomama. So ke satyala ke samane sithengisa ke.
The assistance from AsgiSA Eastern Cape and the Alfred Nzo District Municipality is something they never envisioned as a community.
UAsgiSA ke njeba wafika ke nango-2009. So into eyenze uAsgiSA ufike ebunyanisweni sihleli silinyelwa ngumasipala. Kodwa yena wavele wafika nomehluko ngokuAsgiSA. Ngoba uAsgiSA uthe efika wafika wabona uba amasimi ethu akekho right for uba sinokutyala kungakhange kuqale kubulawa uqaqaqa. Wabulala uqaqaqa uAsgiSA, and then emveni koko wasilimela ke ngoku. Siyawabona ke ngoku amasimi ethu ngohlobo alulo ngoku, ungathi ngoku sinamaplus.
Since their village is small, they are challenged by a lack of storage facilities and a community hall in which to gather. Seeing the rich maize, which is almost ready, makes them wonder where they will store their maize.
Apha elalini yethu ke ngoku into esiyinqwenelayo ubu-AsgiSA ngasikaSenzele yona. Okokuqala nje lo mbona njengoba sinalo mbona esinawo ngoku asazi noba sowufaka phi. Asinanto zofaka umbona, asinawo nala matanki makhulu ayafaka umbona xa sowuqhutyiwa asinawo, asazi uba sizofaka phi.
Another project, which will also be a backbone for this community in the future, is the Nguni Cattle Project. To date, 13 cows have been donated by the Department of Agriculture and the University of Fort Hare. This project started in 2008, and the aim is to change the breed of the whole community to Nguni cattle.
In that community had been taking initiatives, because also on animal husbandry they had been assisted by the University of Fort Hare. So they have the Nguni breed there. That is actually through crossbreeding, changing their breed. And they are planning to ensure that they have their own farms to make sure that rotational grazing becomes a lifeblood of that community.
24-year-old Nceba Madikiza, whose dream of going to university has not yet come through, keeps himself busy in these projects.
NdinguNceba wakwaMadikiza, ndikhulela kule lali yalapha eSaphukanduku. Ndifunde apha ndapasa ibanga lam leshumi ngonyaka ka-2004. Nalapho ke kuthe kuba khange ndikwazi ukuya esikolweni ukuya euniversity. Kwafika ke i-projects apha elalini. Enye ke yazo ke kwaba yile yenkomo nendithe ke ndabona into yokuba mandizi-involve kuyo.
Currently, community projects are viewed as an activity of the elderly.
Well, we are trying to make sure that young people understand that agriculture is the in thing. It's sexy enough for them to get involved in, but also teach them about conservation so that you preserve the land, you take care of the land so that the land takes care of you into the future.
Siyazama ukuncedisa singabantu abatsha abesele be-involve kule nto ye-project into yokuba nabanye abantu abatsha mabazi-involve kuba izinga lethu apha elalini sibaninzi kakhulu kwaye asenzi into. Loo nto ke isenza into yokuba abanye bazibone sele bengene kwizinto ezininzi apha ekuhlaleni ezinjengokusetyenziswa kweziyobisi.
He also hopes to study more about cattle one day if he gets a chance to go to university.
Xa ngaba ndinokufumana opportunity yokuba ndiye esikolweni euniversity, ayikho enye into endingayilandela ngaphandle nje kwaleyo ukuba ndifunde banzi ngokwenkomo kuba le experience sendinayo ngoku indenza ndibawele ukwazi nezinye izinto endingazaziyo ngenkomo.
AsgiSA Eastern Cape, in partnership with Alfred Nzo District Municipality, planted 129 hectares of maize in Saphukanduku. The community had been planting maize before with the municipality, but they say they were not getting a good harvest. With AsgiSA Eastern Cape on board, they are positive that the harvest will be much better than before.
Initially, this is the initiative from the community, because a delegation from the community of Saphukanduku tried to approach the municipality, because all that land was lying fallow, to say, we think that we can make a difference by actually plowing these fields that are lying fallow. And as this community, we think that the only way to make our own living is to make use of the available land, because they said it had a potential.
Ndifike apha eSaphukanduku kuyilali nje ephansi, kuyilali nje enemizi phaya naphaya imbalwa. Apha kule lali bekunzima, besihamba siyotheza kulaa ntaba yensizwa, besilayita ufinya futhi ngelo xesha, besikha amanzi emifuleni.
She describes the poor conditions they used to experience and calls the changes within the community life-changing.
Saya kumasipala, sawucela uba siyalamba, amasimalele asikwazi ukwalima ngoba sinamali. Ngoku sicela urhulumeni usilimele. Nyani urhulumeni uzile wasosilimela amasimi. Silimile okokuqala akwalunga. Saphinda salima okwesibini kwalunga.
Enyanisweni AsgiSA indima edlaleyo okwangoku inkulu kakhulu. Sikwazile okokuqala nje uba asifundise athumele mhlawumbe ezakhe agent ezithile uba sofundisa abantu balapha oqala phambi baqala bathatha nesiphi isigqibo abafundisi uba xa uthatha isigqibo sokuhlala kwakho yenza kanjani.
Thukela Masholoku, who heads up agriculture and agro-processing at AsgiSA Eastern Cape, says the district municipality comes up with the funding for the projects and AsgiSA Eastern Cape tops that funding. Masholoku says there is a set of criteria which AsgiSA Eastern Cape uses in choosing partner communities.
The criteria AsgiSA used to choose communities to be involved in this integrated cropping program is focusing on few aspects. The first one is land. The land must be suitable for crop production. For example, we're saying that there must be at least a depth of about 600 millimeters of the soil for us to be involved there. And then the second one, we look at the topography of the land, like the slope. The slopes that are more than 10% are actually not good for crop production, because if you plant in those areas using the heavy machinery we're using, that can result in soil erosion. So we avoid any slopes more than 10%. Then thirdly, now we look at the rainfall. At least the rainfall in that area must be between 500 and 1,000 millimeters a year.
AsgiSA Eastern Cape employed a project manager, Rob Adam, who is responsible for mentoring emergent farmers and making sure that the cropping programs are well managed.
My main role as a project manager is to ensure that everything is done according to industry standard. And once we accomplish that, we're well on our way to success. And that involves working on after doing appropriate soil samples. Our timing must be absolutely correct. Timing in agriculture is of utmost importance. I've been working very closely with the community members of Saphukanduku. They've been inspired by their maize crop because there's a big difference between last year's crop and this year's crop, and they're very interested and on board.
Rob says working with the community of Saphukanduku has been very rewarding. He believes that this community has a good future in agriculture and he expects a good harvest this season.
At the Saphukanduku project, we're estimating at this stage that we're going to get 4 to 5 tons of grain per hectare. This is a very exciting yield, because last year we only reaped 3.5 bags per hectare. So from 3.5 to 100 bags is an enormous jump.
Yeah, Saphukanduku is like I can say is like one of those best communities we can talk about, because the community members there actually they are respecting government intervention. Because in some communities you will come today and have a committee elected, and when you come the following day there are 2 committees that come from the same community. But at Saphukanduku, ever since we've been involved there, we have one committee that was selected, and we're still working with that committee.
The people of Saphukanduku are people who are open to new ideas. They are interested in trying new things out. They're interested in developing their community.
It's a very committed community, innovative, very cooperative, and very, very active in terms of dealing. It's a community with a clear vision where do they want to go.
Mcebisi Mqulwana says they are determined to work hard and they plan to continue farming even when AsgiSA Eastern Cape leaves them to support other communities.
Yathi mayiqala ke ngosiyafumanisa ba ngona kukhona umahluko omkhulu ekuphileni kwabantu balapha. Umzekelo, njengoba sinalo mbona siyawuthengisa sifumana imali. Yade ngolelali yani account yayo. Enzela ukuthi xa umcimbi lo okanye mhlambi i-contract le mhlambi iyawuthi mhlambi masipala abona uba makashifte ngoku akayi kwabanye abantu sisale sikwazi ukuzenzela.
The community opened a savings account for the cooperative where they are putting money aside to sustain projects in the future.
The benefits are in twofold. During the planting season, the communities are benefiting from these jobs that always come through the project. For example, when they are delivering fertilizers, some young men, that energetic young men, are used actually to offload those trucks that are come to the area. And also now during harvesting, what we are planning, because Saphukanduku is just a small area, we are planning to use actually hand harvesting. So that means that actually now the majority of the community members are going to be involved, and that will create some pocket money for them.
The hard work by the Saphukanduku people has sparked pride in the leaders of this community.
The rural development model in Saphukanduku is unsurpassed and unprecedented. And I think that the Eastern Cape and South Africa must be going to that common to learn. Because in our modern time, the type of development in a rural setting, that one is unsurpassed.
The mayor of Umzimvubu local municipality, Bulelwa Mabengu, says they assisted Saphukanduku by providing the necessary infrastructure for the area.
In Saphukanduku, in terms of the powers and function, our function is dedicated to build the roads so that other sectors must access the project there at Saphukanduku. We have constructed a road and a small bridge.
The project, I'm very excited with what I've seen in Saphukanduku because it's so encouraging to see people looking at different things that can assist their community. And the types of projects that the people of Saphukanduku have become involved in shows that they're not looking at one thing, but they are aware that they've got various resources that they have in the community.
AsgiSA Eastern Cape projects played a major role in Saphukanduku.
AsgiSA projects have assisted the community to be able to see different ways of cultivating grain, introducing new methods, introducing mechanization, and making people be aware that it is possible to produce commercially in a rural setting.
Community involvement is paramount for the success of these projects, because without the communities being involved, then the project will never succeed. Because if you are talking about sustainability of the projects, that means that community must take over the running of the project from AsgiSA in the matter of maybe between 2 or 3 years when we are involved there.
Although the project is running smoothly, there are some hiccups which could be obstacles for the projects.
The biggest challenge, I'd say, is to get everybody to pull their weight equally. You'll have some community members that really go the extra mile, and then you have quite a lot too that'll do absolutely nothing. This creates animosity.
Well, I think the major challenge that one faces in these rural communities is involving young people mainly, and making them believe that they can live off agriculture, and making them believe that there are resources in their communities that they can use to earn a living from. I think the second challenge is the issues around land and ownership, and preserving the land so that in future and for future generations they are able to continue using this land for their own benefit.
So one of the problems we're facing around these communities is theft. Sometimes communities will go and harvest the maize even before it is ready for harvesting, being dry maize, as green maize, and sell it in towns actually as a bagolo, as you can call it in Xhosa, you know. And that is a problem to us, because now it's affecting very severely on our yields.
The Provincial Department of Agriculture and Rural Development envisions prosperous and sustainable livelihoods for everyone. Saphukanduku has partnered with the government in creating better lives for themselves through agricultural projects.
Taking the cue from the development in Saphukanduku in particular, I think that AsgiSA's role, particularly in this currently coming into the party, has actually made a huge difference. Because I think that the harvest and the yield that we're going to get from there is unsurpassed in years.
Sizawusebenzisana ke ngoku nohulumeni no-AsgiSA ukwenza ke ngoku ubomi bethu bube ngcono, nabantwana bethu nabazukulwana bethu bafumane obubomi obungcono.
Ndicinga uba xa sihleli ngohlobo sihleli ngalo nangohlobo siqhuba ngalo, iiprojects zalapha simelanga uba zibe saphinda umva zife. Okokuqala sizamile uba zonke iprojekti zibe nemali yazo, zikwazi uba zizimanejele imali zazo nokusebenza kwazo zonke ezi projekti. Okwesibini, njengoba sonke sanxaxheba kwezi projekti zonke, injongo epha kuba sifunde sibone uba kwenziwa njani.
I want to convey this message to the people of Saphukanduku. I want to tell them they must work hard and must try to have a relationship with the government, just because the government is trying to assist them in this challenge of poverty.
The barriers to prosperity are being destroyed, and the people of Saphukanduku will grow in farming and in agriculture.
In summary, what I want to say to all the communities in the Eastern Cape is that this program of AsgiSA is a program that's going to change their lives.
The government or AsgiSA is going to take 90% of the crop back to reinvest into it next year. So 10% of the crop remains as for the emerging farmers for their own use, and then 90% will go to fund the following year.
Sicinga uba kwiminyaka emihlanu ezayo iyawube le ndawo iyindawo ebalwayo ngokuncedisa abantu okanye ngokuthumela ukudla ngaphandle, nokuthumela uboya ngaphezu uba ibuthumela, nokuthumela inyama ebovu yenkomo. Sinethemba kwiminyaka ezayo emithathu ukubheka phambili sawube le ndawo iyona ndawo ekhiqizayo encedisa urhulumente kuqoqosho lalapha.
Well, I see Saphukanduku being one of the leading villages in the district, self-sufficient, self-reliant, and one of the bread baskets of our area.